A day of protests across Russia has turned into a series of mass arrests, beginning with the detainment of a prominent Putin critic named Aleksei Navalny. Navalny's wife, Yulia, said on his Twitter feed that he was arrested about a half hour before the Moscow demonstration that he was going to attend was to begin. Police later confirmed the arrest, saying he could get up to 15 days in jail on charges of failing to follow police orders and violating public order. Well, we now know he didn't get up to 15 days. He got 30 days in jail for some sort of crimes about organizing. So he was one of the critics of Putin who organized these mass demonstrations across the country. And you'll be shocked to find out that if you're a critic of Putin, bad things can happen to you. 30 days in jail, a fairly light consequence for his activism.
Yeah, especially, Navalny is not just a critic of Putin. His main issue is corruption.
Is corruption, yes, specifically, and he's very vocal about it.
So you're going to go after Putin for corruption. That's really hitting him right.
Exactly, exactly. And so what you're seeing there is not Navalny's arrests, but you're seeing possibly up to 1,000 arrests across Russia throughout today. As of early evening, nearly 700 people had been detained in Moscow alone, as many as 900 in St. Petersburg, according to rights groups. Police even admit 650 detentions in just those two cities, and smaller numbers of protesters being detained across the country. There were permits for up to 190 separate marches. Now this follows an earlier, back in March, an absolutely massive series of demonstrations against Putin. Now that had an electoral component and also a corruption component as well. There is going to be elections in the relatively near future in Russia. Putin theoretically could receive an additional 6 years as the leader of that country, which just boggles the mind. But that is a possibility, and someone like Navalny, being one of the opposition figures who hasn't yet been assassinated, says that he is going to stand in that election, and he has been charged with any number of different crimes of embezzlement and all of these things. He's been sentenced to 5 years of hard labor before. Thankfully, there was an outcry from rights groups, and that was vacated. He was released after being arrested. But this is just another in a long series of detainments and arbitrary arrests. When I was in Oslo, I reported on a prominent theater director in Moscow had been arrested, as well as 50 of his associates for breaking some sort of morality code in the arts. It's a gigantic mess there, but it is heartening to see so many Russians, especially the sorts of young Russians that follow Navalny, continuing to protest, even though that scene that you're seeing there, that's not new or surprising to them. They've seen this before.
That's a great point, John. I mean, the idea that you're swimming upstream against that kind of current of violence against protesters, and it's the Wild West out there. The cops can do whatever they want. The riot police beat up a lot of people. They detain and arrest even more. And you end up with a situation that is designed to discourage participation in the system. It's designed to discourage protest. And then John also rightly said, ultimately the leaders of these movements are eliminated. I mean, literally off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
So it's a courageous move beyond the normal courage that we see for people to take to the streets of Russia.
And they're trying to stop them from even being able to take to the streets, not just what they do to them when they do. They're trying to prevent that organization, which is, that's what whoever is the head of police there is saying, that they want to prevent it entirely. You brought up Oslo and a theater director. Did you know that the play Oslo won the Tony Award for Best Play last night?
So I did not know that.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah. Small worlds.
Membership helps fund the Young Turks. You know one great thing about that? That means we're not accountable to anyone but you guys. That's why we're strong together, because we built this show around you. Come build it even bigger and better at tytnetwork.com/join.